Welcome to a sunny and warm Knockhill racing circuit for the 6th round of the Scottish Sports and Saloons Championship. Behind me you can see a great field of cars. On pole position we have Finlay Crocker, but we also have the Mini Coopers, which are growing as well. We need to keep an eye on this championship. Ollie Mortimer on pole position at the moment. And for the first time in 20 years you'll notice a slightly different change of scenery as we're running in reverse direction. I'll hand it to Richard and he'll take us through the first race of the day.
Thank you, Joe. It's an all-class A2 front row. Finlay Crocker and Andrew Morrison, Honda and Seat respectively. Then Kenneth McKell and Ian Donaldson, both class A1. William Robson, row 3 with Alan Doncaster. Then Thompson McIntyre and Ollie Mortimer. Paul Wilson and David Slay are on row 5. 6th row of the grid, Gary Waite and Andrew Patterson. And then Graham Waite with Robert Drummond. Looks like a touring car race as the 5-second board goes out. Honda versus Seat. Lighting sequence underway. Engine notes will rise. The lights are a little bit of creeping maybe from Finlay Crocker. Checks it up. That's not going to cause a problem. Someone who is going to cause a problem for the leaders is Alan Doncaster from 6 on the grid, has got the lead. Doncaster leads. Finlay Crocker in second. Up to third is Thompson McIntyre, but Crocker's regained the lead. Thompson McIntyre is in 3rd place. He's made a very good start indeed. He was in 7th on the grid. And it's Andrew Morrison challenging for 3rd place now, trying to get back up towards the sharp end. Started P2, but the race leader is Finlay Crocker. Now you can't even say in this one. Off goes Thompson McIntyre, out from 3rd down to 4th. 5th position, you can see the 89 car of William Robson going through. Robson the championship leader, and it's Gary Waite side by side at the moment with Thompson McIntyre. The Mini's getting stuck in as well with Ollie Mortimer, Paul Wilson and David Slate. So who's who of Mini racing there? We'll talk more about that later on, hopefully, as the race progresses. They come towards the end of lap. I've got to say, for my money, that's one of the most exciting first laps that we've had here today. And we've seen some super racing so far in our sister programmes and the other formulae. As up into 2nd place again goes Andrew Morrison. So Morrison's back into 2nd. Here's Kenneth McKell making passes. McKell 2nd in the championship. He's the Class A1 championship leader from Robert Drummond. Now I called Robert on the grid, but he didn't make the start. Robert Drummond and Ian Donaldson in Class A1, both not taking the start. It left 2 starters in Class A1. It's going to make a difference points-wise because it's 18 points for a class win if there are 2 or fewer starters. So the championship positions could well change. There were 3 Class A2 starters, 3 in B1 and 3 Minis as well. Championship leader incidentally in the Mini. Oh, but actually the Minis have got guest drivers in. So Ollie Mortimer, I think the only championship registered driver. And of course we have to think about registrations as well as who's started. So Mortimer at the moment ahead of the red car of Paul Wilson. Wilson the 2007 Mini champion. And Ollie Mortimer in the black number 70. XR2 champion in 2004, triple Mini champion 2005, 2006 and 2010. The blue Mini behind is David Slay, the XR2 champion from 2008, the newcomers Mini champion in 2009 and overall Mini champion in 2011 and 2012. So who'd have thought we'd ever see those 3 drivers on track together, but it's wonderful to see. It's almost like a champion of champions event between those 3. And OK, Ollie the only one scoring championship points by my reckoning. The others are guest drivers, but wonderful to see them having this battle nonetheless. So a bit of a treat, really, a lot of a treat for the fans here and for us to see. And it's Mortimer who leads the way, and he's had the most track time in these R53s as well, and leads the championship. We've seen a good number of drivers out in that class over the course of the season. Kenneth McKell getting stuck in and grabbing 2nd position here. McKell from Andrew Morrison. Clear circuit in front of him now because Crocker's checked out. Crocker's pole position time was 1.3 seconds clear of Andrew Morrison. Kenneth McKell was 3rd on the grid and he's got himself up into 2nd. Robert Drummond was Kenneth McKell's nearest championship challenger, just 3 points behind him. So McKell, even with the slightly reduced class numbers here and the slightly reduced points, nonetheless is bagging points, so that's good for him. But one suspects So the other classes with more finishers should do more championship-wise in terms of the points. So second and third come down the hill. We look back for the fourth position battle, which is coming down to us now, and on the inside line is William Robson, the championship leader, Alan Doncaster. So it's a Mitsubishi versus Ford battle here, with Mitsubishi having the upper hand at the moment. And talking of Mitsubishi, we're on board with Kenneth McKell once again. Look at that cloud coverage, a little bit threatening. Thankfully, we haven't had, I don't know whether wet weather would have been a blessing. I think everybody's coped very well with this new configuration this weekend. And I'm wondering whether the rain would have perhaps added to the mix and maybe added to problems over the course of the day. We haven't had any so far, but the clouds have been threatening. This is a great onboard view, and it really shows you the fall away there, which when you're going the other way, of course, is the climb into Clark Corner. Here's Finlay Crocker lighting up the track, lighting up the timing screen, setting the benchmark for lap records in the Scottish Saloons and Sports Cars Championship. Mini race continues apace with Ollie Mortimer still there at the moment, ahead of Paul Wilson. I'm trying to count up how many titles there are in the three minis. By my reckoning, there are, well, David Slay's won 4 championships on his own. Ollie Mortimer has won 4, so we've got 8, 9, I don't know, best part of 10 as off goes Paul Wilson onto the dirt. When I was doing me stats, Wilson gets back on. I hope he hasn't damaged the car, but it's certainly taken the heat out of the battle in the Mini Cooper R53 Cup, which Ollie Mortimer looks like he's going to win. So Mortimer getting away now from Paul Wilson, who did recover well there. David Slay will try and hunt him down. Up across the line though, onto the last lap goes Finlay Crocker, but has been reeled in here by Kenneth McKell. McKell has the fastest lap of the race, so the A1 class championship leader, class A2 in terms of championship standings, incidentally led by Andrew Morrison. And you're probably wondering where Ron Cumming is this weekend. So are we. Ron, who of course has been a super addition to the grids over the course of the year, not with us this weekend, the Aberdonian in the Nemesis, but it's given us a chance to see some different machinery out the front. And Finlay Crocker here is looking for a first outright win of the year. Took second place and class win in June, and he goes through McIntyre's. He'll climb up the hill. I think he's going to hold on to it, but the gap you can see has come down to Kenneth McKell. So it's a Class A2 car leading the four-wheel drive Class A1 machine, who's closing in, but Finlay Crocker takes the win. Congratulations, Finlay, and to Kenneth McKell, who takes second and class win. Andrew Morrison is still in third place, so Morrison will take third position. There he is going across the line, chasing the minis. Fourth position goes to William Robson. Then we've got Alan Doncaster, Thompson McIntyre next from Gary Waite, Ollie Mortimer in 8th, beating Paul Wilson and David Slay in the minis, and Andrew Patterson third in the overall championship, the last finisher. He finishes in 11th position.
Finlay, we had an intensive conversation regarding overtaking. You were concerned there wasn't as much overtaking opportunities. You were never going to lead into turn 1, so you knew you were going to have to fight back somewhere.
Yeah, well, we didn't lead quite going in, but we led coming back out. So, and I seemed to build up a bit of a gap. I don't quite know what was going on behind. I expected everybody to be right behind me going down Railway Straight and into Clark's, and all of a sudden I came round with about a 3-second gap after the first lap and got that up to 7. And then I could see the gap coming down, and I could see a white Mitsubishi getting closer and closer, and another lap, and I think we would have struggled, but it was good. There's some fluid down, I think, with 4 or 5 laps to go. That made it a bit difficult, and he's got twice as much traction as me with 4 wheels than 2, so I was toiling, but it was good fun, yeah.
Don't take this the wrong way, but we haven't done this since 1995, we think, reverse direction. Were you racing then?
No, I was only 25 then. I didn't start till I was 33, Joe. So no, I wasn't racing then. So, but it's good. I think it adds a different dimension to the place. You've got the benefits of coming to somewhere you're familiar with a whole different track really, and there's not a single bit of the track, I think, other than the straights that are similar to the conventional direction, and even the straights have got bumps that have appeared out of nowhere that you've never seen before. So no, it was good. Really enjoyed it.
Well done. Reverse direction doesn't seem to change the finishing order for you back on the podium.
No, I really like reverse direction. Suits my car well. Got on well today. Had a bit of a fight at the start. Lost a couple of places. Two of the guys quite quick off the line, but once I got past them, it was just a case of making some space between us and holding the position.
And you go home with another trophy, but you've got to do it all again in race 2.
I do, yes. Quite looking forward to it, but see how she goes.
Ollie, doesn't matter if we change the circuit to the wrong direction, you still win races.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was my first time on reverse track. I've raced here for most of my life, and I've never done it reverse, so it's quite.
You weren't a big fan when I first spoke to you, but obviously I think the results, pole position and a race win, are going to change that.
I think it doesn't matter what a track's like. If you win it, you're going to end up liking it, really. So just now I like it, but that might change for race 2. But yeah, the car was good. Like I said, my first time reverse. There's a Paul Wilson's done it before, Dave's done it before, so I thought I would be on the back foot. But you know, Joe, like yourself, I'm a quick learner, and also thanks very much to my new sponsor, Boogless Gas Services. Check them out on Facebook. They're a really family-run business. But nah, brilliant race. Just happy to get the win. Paul was all over me, pushed a wee bit too hard and went off, and that made the rest of the race easy. So I got to be.
Are you worried that Paul's going to get frustrated at some point and do something a bit out of order?
Nah, I don't know.
You're good friends, but we were good friends before we started racing against each other and all fell out.
I know, but Paul's not an absolute maniac, so all right.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Well done, Ollie. Thanks. Scottish Sports and Saloons race number 2, and back on pole position is race 1 winner Finlay Crocker. Not an easy win for Finlay in the first one there. He's struggling off the line, so he knows he's going to lose the lead at the beginning of the race, and it was a case of trying to fight back, which he managed to do. And in the minis, we had Ollie Mortimer winning only just from Paul Wilson. And I was just speaking to Paul, super keen to beat Ollie on this occasion. I'll hand it to Richard, and he'll take us through all the action.
Thanks, Joe. Finlay's win gives him pole position from Kenneth McKell. This is going to be good between those two. Andrew Morrison and William Robson on row 2. Then it's Alan Doncaster and Thompson McIntyre. Gary Waite and Ollie Mortimer ahead of Paul Wilson and David Slay. Andrew Patterson, then Graham Waite on row 6. Ian Donaldson and Robert Drummond due to complete the grid. But Graham Waite, sadly, joining Ian Donaldson and Robert Drummond on the sideline. So we're reduced to 11 cars, but we've got a very, very potent mix of machinery on the grid. Lights go out. Problems for Kenneth McKell, and how everybody managed to avoid McKell, I do not know. Hats off to all of them for the avoidance. Eventually, McKell gets fired up. Let's see, we might see a recovery drive through the field, but it's Finlay Crocker. Is Finlay going to get a double? That's probably the man that was worrying him out of the way. A little bit of a smoky Joe there is Gary Waite trying to make progress. So they're all, apart from McKell, away in a trouble-free manner. That was very lucky that nobody was involved. You can see here David Slay a little bit closer to Paul Wilson in this one. Ollie Mortimer trying to get away from them, breaking the toe. We've then got Andrew Patterson in the black BMW, and there's Kenneth McKell, fastest lap outright in race number 1, looking to do it all again. Andrew Morrison did well, moved up a position in the overall standings in race number 1, moves up from 5th place into 4th, courtesy of Robert Drummond non-starting, and he'll consolidate that in this one. He's looking at the moment to try and pass the 59 car Gary Waite, the man from Bathgate. The 2 litre Sierra Cosworth is dealt with, so this is another good drive as ever from Andrew Morrison, the former outright champion, B1 class champion and overall champion in 2014. So Finlay Crocker looking to try and make. I love the questioning from Joe saying you must have been racing here when we last went round anti-clockwise. But Finlay, as you heard, hasn't been racing that long and has done very well for a late starter into racing. Gary Waite looks like he was slow into McIntyre's, and making a little bit of hay there was Thompson McIntyre going through. McIntyre, the existing Class B1 champion, and defending his title, Class B1 at the moment, led by William Robson. who won the class in race number 1 and maintains the class championship lead. Kenneth McKell with some damage. Good race here on for the R53. So Mortimer and Wilson, the 2 former champions of the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup, having a lot of pressure. Actually, I'm not sure Celtic Speed sponsored it when those guys won, possibly when Ollie Mortimer won in 2010. Wilson having a good nibble. He was the 2007 champion, and those two having a good battle. Not actually part of the Scottish Saloons Sports Cars Championship, but a separate class, and the hope is that more cars are going to join that, and maybe they'll have standalone races. Remember what happened with the BMW Championship a few years ago, which started off in these Saloons Sports Cars and then had enough entries to run on their own. Mortimer starting to get away though. Wilson still in second. David Slay goes through shot as well. It's great to see David Slay back on track this weekend, as we pick up now with the 48 car. Alan Doncaster up ahead of Thompson McIntyre. And looking to make progress too is Kenneth McKell. So McKell in the Class A1 car goes through. McKell, the Class A1 winner and also championship leader. I think the only class in race 1 that had a non-championship leader. Winning class was Finley Crocker, who took the overall win. It's Andrew Morrison who leads that class championship-wise. And as I said, actually moved up into 4th overall, and he's going to be chasing 3rd overall now as well, based on the numbers in the classes, because Andrew Patterson, Class B3 has less entries today, so that could well mean that 3rd place in the championship outright could go to Andrew Morrison, because he'll score more for 2nd position in class than in a bigger class than a class winner will, and that's a problem there. Going into the pit lane is Kenneth McKell. So McKell, a frustrating start for him, and I think looks like he's picked up some damage in the chase through the field and comes into the pit lane. Sadly, it looks like he's going to be joining Gary Waite on the sidelines for this one. Good race though between Alan Doncaster and Thompson McIntyre, and we'll see what Thompson can do. Remember, McIntyre, the defending Class B1 champion. Last year A1 was won by Scott Tolland, Paul Bryden taking the outright championship in and the Class A2 honours as well. Ian Sinclair winning B2 last year. Nobody in B2 racing today. And 2015 Ian Donaldson, who didn't start sadly, is here today, was the overall champion. Finley Crocker was A2 champion that year. Andrew Mackie winning B1, Ian Sinclair B2, and Ollie Ross, the Mazdas. Who remembers the Mazdas? Had some good battles in the Mazda class over the seasons as well. But McIntyre still busy at the moment chasing Doncaster. In the distance is Will Robson, who is the outright championship leader, and I think will keep that as well from Andrew Patterson. But Robson will have pulled a few points back on him at this round. He came in with 148 points. And he's pulling away from Andrew Patterson, who was 3rd in the standings coming into this meeting, but I think will go up to 2nd at the expense of McKell, who's had that non-finish. Patterson will rack up to 18-point scores, assuming he finishes, and Robson extending his championship lead outright over Patterson with 2 25-point scores. So an extra 14 points for him at this meeting, with Andrew Morrison looking poised to take 3rd overall in the championship and maintain the A2 class championship lead. Finley Crocker, on a very limited campaign this year, is 2nd in Class A2, 7th overall, just behind Ron Cumming. Again, if he stays out front of this race. A good battle going on here for this is for Class B1 as well. I need to put the perspective on this, not only for the 4th position, but also for 2nd position in Class B1. Back to the minis. Paul Wilson slipping away now a little bit from the class leader Ollie Mortimer. David Slay still pretty much has them in sight, but not close enough to make a challenge. So it's Ollie Mortimer still there, the Edinburgh-based driver who has won all of the class races so far this year. So he's picked up maximum points available in the class over the course of the season so far. So Finley Crocker passes the mini leader. Ollie Mortimer is passed, and Finley Crocker here on lap number 12. Big lead over Andrew Morrison. It's nearly 20 seconds. The One Cool Honda looking superb, the Honda Civic TCR, and who's looking forward to some TCR racing next year here in the UK. I wonder if Finley Crocker is going to be a part of that. He's certainly having some good practice in this machinery, which is being driven to very good effect. And that's the beauty of this championship. You see all sorts of cars that are eligible for it, and that we otherwise wouldn't get the chance to see here around the tarmac at Knockhill Circuit. I'm really getting used to this reverse format, and it is Crocker who's absolutely mastered it in the Scottish Saloon and Sports Car Championship. He's going to win round 10 of the championship. There's the checker. Crocker makes it a double here at Knockhill Circuit. Andrew Morrison is about 20 seconds down. We'll see. They're taking the win in the minis once again. It's Ollie Mortimer. We have lost Paul Wilson, and it means David Slay will take second in the minis. There is David. Next car across the line, well, we're looking for Andrew Patterson, but of course next it is Andrew Morrison who takes second position outright. Finley Crocker the overall winner, Andrew Morrison up into third in the championship, second overall. William Robson wins class ahead of Alan Dogster and Thompson McIntyre. Ollie Mortimer winning the minis from David Slay, and it was Andrew Patterson in 8th. Fastest lap of the race that time for Finley Crocker.
Finley, well done. 2 wins from pole position, making it look easy.
It's not happened for years. Yeah, I didn't expect to win by that much there today. I think I was lucky.
Sorry to interrupt. We normally rely on wet weather where you can really sort of take advantage here, but too dry. It's been dry all weekend.
Yeah, it's unusual. Car's been going really well, and to be honest, put different tyres on today from yesterday. We're much better. Still, we don't have the power of some other guys, but the car handles just immensely. Boys have done a great job, set up well. Bit fortuitous with the Mitsubishi stalling off the line, but take the luck sometimes. But no, it was good. It's yeah, I don't think I've ever been here and won by that amount ever. So I'll take that.
Well done.
Thank you.
Ollie, I spoke to Paul Wilson just before that, and he said definitely he was going to beat you that time, but he didn't. He's won again.
Really? Did he say that?
Honestly.
He's quite a cocky lad, I'll give him that, but he's so consistent, Paul. It's like there's no one worse behind you. You know he's not going to do a stupid move on you, but you just can't shake him off because he's just so consistent, lap after lap after lap. His tyres went off there, so he did drop back a bit, and I think he might have ran out of fuel at the end the way he was weaving about. But I didn't expect this, reverse grid. Like I said earlier, it's my first time. Yesterday was round the reverse track, so I'm glad I could get 2 wins for my new sponsor, Bugles Gas Services, that's here, and for my dad and my mum for all their hard work and everything, and Team Slay Racing.
Now, I hear, talking to Paul again, that there's a lot more of these cars being built. I'm going to drop a few names in here. Vic Covey.
Yeah, Vic Covey's bought a car. It's an automatic, but he's going to put a manual gearbox in it, but I don't know if that's...
He could keep it automatic.
We could do it, improve his starts, and that's his words, not mine. Jerry for Performance Tech, he's building 2 cars, and Carol Brown's got a road car, so we've been trying to entice her. So I think, I genuinely think it could be about 8 or 9 cars, halfway through next season.
Good stuff, we're looking forward to it. Well done again on this weekend.
Thanks very much.
Well, unfortunately that brings today's racing to a close, but as ever we've seen some fantastic action all day long. Make sure you tune in next time for more of the same.